First day fireworks. MP Ned Kuruc shocks Parliament with bold questions. In a striking parliamentary debut, newly elected Conservative MP Ned Kuruc wasted no time making his mark on the national stage. Representing the riding of Hamilton East, Stony Creek, Kuruc used his first appearance at a parliamentary committee to directly challenge the integrity of federal contracting practices exposed in the latest Auditor General report. His bold line of questioning cut to the heart of what many Canadians have been demanding: real accountability over how taxpayer money has been spent under the Liberal government led by Prime Minister Mark Carney. Kuruc zeroed in on the ongoing controversy surrounding the ArriveCAN app, a pandemic-era initiative that has since become a symbol of mismanagement and potential abuse of public funds. At the center of the scandal is GC Strategies, a little-known two-person firm that astonishingly secured millions in federal IT contracts. While they acted as middlemen, outsourcing the actual tech work to third parties, it was the government's failure to verify whether the work was ever completed, or by whom, that truly outraged Kuruc and his constituents. The Auditor General's report revealed that in 40% of the contracts examined, there was little or no proof that the deliverables were met. Yet payments continued to flow. Kuruc pressed officials with a blunt question: is it normal to approve government payments without any verification that work was done? It's a question that resonates with voters across the country. In the face of rising inflation, record debt, and stagnant wages, Canadians are losing patience with what they perceive as careless or even corrupt government spending. Kuruc's frustration grew more evident as he probed deeper into the lack of enforcement around procurement rules. Federal departments are required to document contractor qualifications, collect timesheets, and ensure services were actually rendered. But in case after case, the paperwork simply wasn't there. Civil servants could offer little more than vague statements like, "We believe the work was done," which Kuruc rightly pointed out is not an acceptable standard when it comes to taxpayer dollars. Trust must be earned, and in the absence of documentation, it quickly disappears. Adding to the concern was the nature of GC Strategies' role in the contracts. They did not carry out any of the IT work themselves but acted as recruiters, subcontracting others to perform the work. In the private sector, such firms are common, especially for short-term projects with technical demands. However, unlike in private industry, where hiring managers typically review resumes, vet qualifications, and conduct interviews, government departments seem to skip those steps entirely. The result: no way of knowing if the individuals hired through GC Strategies were qualified for the roles they were paid to fill. The report revealed that in nearly one-third of contracts examined, there was no evidence that the subcontractors met the required qualifications. This opens the door to serious questions about how GC Strategies price their contracts. There is a growing suspicion, though not yet proven, that the firm may have inflated resumes or misrepresented credentials to qualify for higher pay rates, charging the government premium fees for potentially underqualified labor. Without documentation to confirm the skills and work delivered, these suspicions cannot be ruled out. Kuruc also drew attention to the complete breakdown in oversight involving timesheets. These are not bureaucratic formalities. They are essential tools to verify work hours and track what was accomplished. The Auditor General noted that timesheets were required in the vast majority of contracts, yet in many cases, departments failed to request or examine them. Without such records, there's no way to confirm whether work was completed, whether the hours billed were accurate, or whether the rates paid were justified. This basic lapse undermines any claim of value for money. The deeper implication is a culture of neglect that extends beyond any one department or contractor. Kuruc highlighted that over 30 federal departments had approved payments under these questionable practices. The Auditor General backed up this concern, suggesting that the problem wasn't isolated to GC Strategies, but could be symptomatic of a larger dysfunction within the federal public service. The implication is that lax standards and a disregard for rules have become normalized, putting billions of public dollars at risk. Prime Minister Mark Carney's government, still in its early days following the April 2025 election, now finds itself under pressure to clean up the mess left behind. Carney campaigned on promises of good governance and fiscal responsibility, but scandals like this threaten to erode public trust before his leadership can even fully take root. The ArriveCAN revelations are more than a partisan flashpoint. They are becoming a litmus test for whether this government can reform itself or fall into the same traps that disillusioned voters in the first place. What made Kuruc's performance resonate so powerfully is that it reflected the anger and confusion of everyday Canadians. Taxpayers have been asked to sacrifice and stretch their dollars further than ever before, only to find that their money may have been used to line the pockets of consultants with no proven work to show. Kuruc voiced this frustration with precision and passion, demanding not only answers, but accountability from those who allowed such practices to continue unchecked. Kuruc's intervention also reinvigorated debate over what it means to serve in government. He reminded the committee, and by extension, all Canadians, that public servants are stewards of the people's money. That stewardship requires diligence, honesty, and documentation. It also demands consequences when those principles are violated. If government officials approved payments without evidence of work, they failed in their duty. If contractors misrepresented qualifications to secure inflated payments, they must be held accountable. These aren't minor clerical errors, they are breaches of trust. As calls grow for disciplinary action, reform of federal procurement processes, and deeper investigations into what went wrong, Kuruc's voice stands out among the new wave of parliamentarians unwilling to accept business as usual. He made clear that Parliament's job isn't to excuse bureaucratic failure, it's to protect the people who pay the bills. His message was as simple as it was powerful. If you can't prove the work was done, you shouldn't be spending Canadians' money. And if you can't follow the rules, you shouldn't be managing contracts at all. In a single session, MP Ned Kuruc redefined what it means to hit the ground running. His unflinching focus on value for money, transparency, and ethical governance brought fresh energy to a parliament weary from scandal fatigue. As the dust settles around the ArriveCAN investigation, one thing is clear. Canadians are watching, and they expect answers. Kuruc's voice will no doubt remain central in the fight to restore integrity to public service and ensure that every dollar spent is backed by real, provable work.